Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for the next Insomniac game next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Gwen Stacy, a girl who used to be the Kenny McCormick of the Marvel Universe, dying every time it was rebooted so the writers could show you how truly sinister the villains were. But lately she's come out of the fridge, slapped on a hoodie, and started swinging around New York all by herself, because Peter died in her universe. Can't these spider kids just catch a break? Let's start off with our goals for this build. If these seem similar to Spider-Man's goals, that's because I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. They are. Gwen has the same powers as Peter Parker, but uses them differently because she's a different person. Sort of like how Aragorn and Zorro are both handsome men who swing swords and ride horses, but they wouldn't really be all that similar once you build them out. First, we need Spidey senses, knowledge of incoming danger to avoid getting squashed like some kind of bug thing. Next, we need to keep things light. It's hard to stay mobile with a bunch of baggage. Physical baggage, not emotional. And emotional. Finally, we need some webbing. Everyone loves the web, right? But if you want your web to be free from hackers, why not check out today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN? Surfshark keeps you safe while you browse the internet, encrypting your data to keep you safe from hackers, data miners, even your internet service provider. Everyone wants those tasty data nuggets, but Surfshark makes sure your nuggets are yours to keep. If that wasn't enough, the new Clean Web feature blocks ads to clean up your windows so you're only seeing the stuff you want to. You can use Surfshark on an unlimited amount of devices. No limits there. Pop it on your browser, your phone, your tablet. Hey, it even works on gaming consoles. I know we've got some gamers in the chat. Finally, you can use Surfshark to disguise your location and watch streaming services in other countries. Canada Netflix has Spider-Man. Spider-Man is good. Check out the link in the description for 83% off your purchase and 3 months for free so you can go on the web without stressing out. Now back to the video. For stats, we're using the point buy. Spider's persons are very spread out. Who would have guessed they need to be flexible? Charisma will be number 1 at 15. I'll be honest, I kinda stretched giving Peter decent charisma. This is a little more honest. Gwen is good at talking to people and is in a band. Dexterity at 14, wisdom at 13. Spiders have to be acrobatic and perceptive. What else are you gonna do? Well, you could put all your other stats at 10 because even though you're a gifted student who's gifted at throwing cars, we don't really need either of them to get the right feel for a spider person. Gwen is a human. Humans get feats. The alert feat makes you a spider human instantly by giving you +5 to your initiative rolls. You can't be surprised while you're awake, and nobody gets advantage on attacks against you just because you can't see them. Nobody's going to be getting the drop on you because you're going to be dropping down on them. Bump your wisdom and your dexterity with your 2 free points. Take perception for your skill of choice, and build your own background for investigation and arcana proficiencies. Your dad is a police captain, which means you're well trained to find the bad guys. And also, if you don't do your homework, you're definitely going to be grounded. Your dad's a cop. We'll kick things off as a monk because it works well to make a spider. You get to grab 2 skills from the monk list, like athletics and acrobatics. You get martial arts to make your unarmed attacks using your dexterity modifier. They deal 1d4 plus your dexterity modifier. And you can make an unarmed attack as a bonus action after you make one with your action for the fastest attacks you can get at level 1. You can't use martial arts while wearing armor, so it's a good thing that you get unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. A hoodie is not armor, a pair of chucks isn't armor, and neither are ballet slippers. Whatever aesthetic you want to rock is fine as long as it doesn't weigh you down. Second level monks get key points they can use to do cool spider stuff like Step of the Wind to double your jump distance and let you dash or disengage as a bonus action. There isn't web swinging in D&D, but we can pair this with something later to give you jumping abilities that will make you feel like Spider-Gwen. Patient defense lets you dodge as a bonus action, giving your enemies disadvantage to hit you with attacks, and you'll have advantage on dexterity saves to avoid pumpkin bombs from flying goblins. Flurry of blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1 with your bonus action. Get some momentum going and you should be able to pull off a windmill kick. That's always my go-to. Becoming a human blender just seems pretty cool. All spiders are faster when they're not wearing armor, thanks to unarmored movement, helping you swing through New York with relative ease. Third level monks can choose a monastic tradition, reflavor drunken master to be a ballerina, and hey, look at that, you got Spider-Gwen. You get proficiency with the performance skill and brewer supplies, but don't let your dad know that you're bootlegging. The drunken technique lets you disengage for free after you make a flurry of blows, and you're 10 feet faster. Monks are already a great hit and run class, but this takes it to the next level, darting in and out of range of most melee fighters. But don't worry, even if they're ranged attacks, you'll be set with deflect missiles, letting you reduce damage from incoming ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier and monk level. As a reaction, you can even yeet the ammo back by spending a key point if you drop it to 0. So many bad guys just use guns. It's boring, it's lazy, and thanks to you, it's ineffective. 4th level monks get an ability score improvement. We need our dexterity to get as high as possible, as quickly as possible, so let's start investing that now. You also get slow fall, letting you reduce falling damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction. I could make a dark joke here, but I'll just point out how useful this is when most of your fights happen on top of a skyscraper. 5th level monks get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks with your action instead of 1, and up to 4 attacks in a single round thanks to Flurry of Blows. Each of those hits does a little bit more damage as well, since your monk die bumps up to a d6. You also get Stunning Strike, letting you force a Constitution saving throw on a creature you hit with a weapon attack. Failing that, they're stunned until the end of your next turn. Thankfully, you don't need a weapon for the weapon attack. Your fist can be a weapon attack. In this instance, it basically just means not a spell attack. It's not like Gwen has any spells. She isn't magic. That wouldn't make sense. Bouncing over to Warlock. 1st level Warlocks have to decide what exactly a spider totem is in terms of pact options. For Spider-Man, I used some super dead Unearthed Arcana, so for Gwen, we'll just call it Axeblade, since that's the one that's best at fighting. You get Axeblade's Curse, letting you hone your spider senses in on one target and deal extra damage to them with every attack equal to your proficiency bonus. You critically hit them on a 19 or a 20, and you get temporary HP when you beat them down, equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. You can curse one person per short rest, so use them when you need to for some real precision. The real reason we came here was for a little thing called Eldritch Blast. It's a tofu spell you can reflavor to be whatever you want. Since it's just a ranged spell attack, that deals 1d10 force damage per beam and shoots 2 beams at this level. Today, we're calling it a Web Blast, and we'll get to add some webby flavor to it in a bit. For your other cantrip, Mage Hand lets you lift objects weighing 10 pounds or less with a floating spectral hand, or with some minor reflavoring, a little thwippy yoinky web. For your 1st level spells, Shield adds 5 to your AC as a reaction for a little web shield, and Expeditious Retreat lets you dash as a bonus action for up to 10 minutes, depending on your concentration, which can be useful if you're just trying to run fast and don't want to waste key points on Step of the Wind. But enough about other spells, I just want to talk about Eldritch Blast because it's the only spell I ever want to talk about. 2nd level Warlocks can make Eldritch Blast so much better thanks to invocations like Grasp of Hadar. That lets you pull a creature you hit with an Eldritch Blast beam 10 feet closer to you once per round, and Lance of Lethargy lets you slow a creature's movement speed by 10 feet once per round. So if you want to pull someone in for a combo or stick them to the ground, you have a better option for that now. But really, only take one of those, because Agonizing Blast is pretty much mandatory for Eldritch Blast, letting you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast attacks. Getting blasted by webs has gotta hurt, I think. I bet it doesn't tickle. 3rd level Warlocks can choose a Pact Boon, a little gift from the forces of the Spider-Verse. Pact of the Talisman lets you add a d4 to a failed ability check an amount of times per long rest equal to your proficiency bonus. This can be used to get out of a metaphorical bind, or a literal bind. If someone has you grappled, you could add it to your acrobatics check to escape. For this level spell, Hold Person paralyzes a humanoid that fails a wisdom saving throw, meaning all attacks made within 5 feet of them are critical hits. So a flurry of blows will be doing some serious damage. It lasts for a minute depending on your concentration, so try to stay focused and help your fellow spiders get their biffs and blams in. 4th level Warlocks get an ability score improvement. Let's get our Charisma modifier up. We'll be needing it more later, though even at this level, it will help you with your Hold Person DC. For this level spell, Spider Climb lets you move up walls and on ceilings for an hour depending on your concentration. Nobody expects to fight someone on the ceiling, except for Lionel Richie, but I'm guessing your DM isn't putting him in your campaign. He was more of a 3rd edition antagonist. Use your fantastic flexibility to bend back to Monk, because 6th level monks get key empowered strikes, making your attacks magical in terms of overcoming resistances, so you can punch a ghost if you want to. Though honestly, maybe if there is a ghost, they've been through enough. You don't need to punch them. You also get Tipsy Sway, letting you stand up from prone with 5 feet of movement instead of half, and you can redirect an attack when someone misses you with a melee attack, spending a key point to make them hit someone else in range. How many times can you make one bumbling criminal punch another bumbling criminal? I'm not discouraging it, seriously. Try and see how many times you can do that. It's hilarious. 7th level monks get Evasion, letting you take half damage on failed dexterity saves and no damage on successful ones. You would think since virtually every spider person has this, Green Goblin might want to stop using bombs, but nope. Maybe that dude really is crazy. You also get Stillness of Mind, letting you remove an effect of Charming or Frightening as an action. Sometimes you need to take a deep breath before you cowabunga off the Empire State Building. 8th level monks get another ability score improvement. Round your dexterity and charisma modifiers up. We want to be keeping them about equal. Though actually, if you could just cap them off because you rolled your stats perfectly, do that, champ. Hey! Remember that dark joke that I didn't make when we got Slowfall? It's gonna get a lot worse because I'm adding Clockwork Sorcerer levels. I know, it's awkward, it's kind of a lot of multi-classing. Tulok, why can't you control yourself? These are all questions I ask myself, but it turns out I kinda know what I'm doing. CLOCKWORK sorcerers get to restore balance, either turning a creature's roll with advantage or disadvantage within 60 feet of you into a neutral roll as a reaction an amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. Madam Web likes her equilibrium, try and keep it balanced for her. You also get spells and cantrips, starting with cantrips. Mending lets you fix a crack in something or put two pieces of something back together for a little web repair. Message lets you whisper to someone within 120 feet of you and they can whisper back for a little text chain. Light lets you see in the dark with your dumb human eyes. And True Strike lets you remind your audience that because women were shut out of the creative process for so long, there's an abundance of male-centric stories. Taking a month to focus on female characters will still not put a dent in how lopsided the gender divide is on builds on my channel. And if you can't empathize with a woman's story, you're proving that you're worse than the women that have had to deal with this for pretty much the entire history of cinema. It also gives you advantage on a weapon attack next round. That's bad, just attack twice. We're really here for the spells that spend slots, like jump to triple your jump distance for a minute, or sextuple it with Step of the Wind to clear 60 feet horizontally or 18 feet vertically. That should be some serious web swinging, even if it isn't quite out and out flight. Featherfall stops up to 5 falling creatures from taking falling damage, so you can catch Peter Parker, Peter Porker, Peter Venkman, Peter Pumpkin Eater, and Peter Dinklage, even if all of them have Featherfall already. Multiclassing Warlock and Sorcerer isn't all that scary. Basically, you have all the spell slots you would have as a Warlock and all the spell slots you would have as a Sorcerer, with the ability to cast spells from either list using either slot. Second level Sorcerers get a Font of Magic full of sorcery points, and you can use those to recover spell slots. You could also melt down your Warlock slots into sorcery points, then take a short rest and do it again if you just want a lot more sorcery points. We'll have a reason to do that in a second. For now though, grab Mage Armor, which will make your AC 13 plus your Dexterity and Wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor for up to 8 hours. So we don't really need to invest in Wisdom if we want decent AC anymore. That's nice. Third level sorcerers get meta magic, letting you spend your sorcery points to do cool things, like Quicken Spell, letting you cast a spell as a bonus action that normally takes an action. This can let you really throw out the web balls with some serious rapid fire action. Subtle Spell lets you cast spells without verbal or somatic components in case you need to be sneaky. For this level spell, Web is a spell in D&D that makes webs. This is our third spider person, and it's the first one to have the spell Web. Wild. It turns a 20-foot cube into difficult terrain, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures inside. Failing that, they're restrained until they can use their turn to make a strength check against your spell DC. Generally, I like hold person better, but if you want to lock down a big area instead of one person, this is a solid option. Fourth level sorcerers get another ability score improvement. Cap off your charisma modifier for maximum web damage, accuracy, and escape difficulty. For this level spell, enhance ability lets you give a creature advantage on ability checks of a certain type. If you choose strength, their carrying capacity is doubled. If you choose dexterity, they don't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less, and if you choose Constitution, they get 2d6 temporary HP. The strength thing would give you 300 pounds of carrying capacity for an hour, helping you make up for your lower strength score. I might go for that. We'll finish this off with some monk levels. 9th level monks get unarmored movement, letting you move up walls and over water without falling as long as you end somewhere solid. Now you only need to spend a spell slot on spider climb if you want to hang out on the ceiling. Honestly, no judgment. I would do that if I could. 10th level monks get purity of body, making you immune to poison and disease. Generally, getting bitten by a spider just makes you sick, but somehow it gave you superpowers. That's sick. 11th level drunken monks get drunkard's luck, letting you spend 2 key points to take away disadvantage on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Use restore balance first, but this is a nice backup, so you never have to be bad at anything. Your monk die also bumps up to a D8 here for bigger punches. Our capstone is the 12th level of monk for one last ability score improvement, letting us finally cap off our dexterity to get the full-on spider experience. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're very consistent, with Eldritch Blast, unarmed strikes, and unarmored defense, meaning that you're always ready to go. You're also very mobile, with huge movement speed and great jump distance to put yourself where you want to be. Finally, you have plenty of ways to lock down your foes, helping your friends get advantage on all their attacks. For weaknesses, Eldritch Blast and Quickened Spell is so good. Why is that a weakness? Because we kept doing other stuff. I stuck with Monk because I wanted evasion, but if you went with Eldritch Knight instead, you'd have way more ability score improvements, spell slots to burn for Quickened Spell, and Action Surge to push the webbing even further. That would also help with the fact that you're a mad woman, multi-ability dependent. You need Dexterity and Wisdom as a monk, but Charisma to get the most out of your webs, so Constitution has to take a hit, which is probably your biggest weakness. You got less than 100 HP and your AC is still only 18 at level 20. That could be kind of risky. So, stay out of range, dive in and out, and web everyone up so they can't even move to hit you. You're a spider. Spiders don't win by being the biggest thing in the fight. Applying your attacks with patience and grace and make sure you come out on top. Unless someone finds a way to hit you. Then the clock might strike midnight. I made the dark joke. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.